Hey everyone, Amar Bashakra here, and welcome to this video. In this video, you're going to see a unedited, raw conversation between myself and one of my clients here at contracting.com. If you have a hard time living in the present moment, and this is something I personally struggled with, if you spend time thinking about what has happened in the past, about employees that are not doing what they're supposed to, about the bid that didn't work out, if you spend time worrying about the future, about what might happen tomorrow, then this is a conversation you don't want to miss. 41 years old, Randy has never felt present, and he's heard people talk about it, but he's never really understood what they meant. So by the end of this conversation, he had 10 out of 10 clarity in what he needed to do to truly find how to live in the moment and not just be stuck in his head every time he's trying to do something in his business. So I asked Randy if I could share this with you because this comes up all the time, and he agreed. So running a contracting business is not easy, but if you can apply what we talked about in this video, I think it'll make it just a little bit easier. So I hope you enjoy. Hey, Randy, how you doing?
Good. Yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. Happy Friday.
Hey, same to you, man. How's your Friday so far?
It's been really good, man. It's been really good. One of the things I've been learning to get better at is because of my role, not only am I managing a big team and a bunch of clients, but it's very important that I also remain creative and I
Hmm.
create good content. I create good ads for, for future customers and for you have better content. So the ability to go from task to task, to take a step back and get creative, I really actually have to be in a relaxed state.
Hmm.
So I've been like trying to get better and better at going from like high stress, high environment, solving problems, dealing with this, dealing with that, to a moment where I actually just step back, let all the chaos happen without me, and I can go with my pen and paper and think and organize my thoughts so I can better kind of serve you. So
Nice.
I've been doing that today. It went very well. And
Nice.
yeah.
So I had a quick question because hearing your story and where you came from, how long did it take you to overcome that mindset leap?
Oh, you never overcome it, Randy.
No.
No, no, it's a constant thing. Are you aware about what entropy is?
No.
Okay, cool. Well, how did Conrad explain this meeting? He told you this was going to be a coaching call, correct?
Um, yeah, he really didn't explain it, just said I had a meeting with you and to
Cool,
set a date. And so,
cool, cool, cool. So I'm going to share something with you. Then we'll just kind of go with the flow. There's an hour, but I think we can kind of get a lot of stuff done in 30 minutes. But if we need to
okay.
use the hour, we can use the hour. It's all
Okay,
good.
cool.
Um, but I will answer your question here. So I have this little presentation for you. I think you might find interesting.
Okay.
So your question was, Amber, how do you ever overcome the mindset? So
Uh-huh.
check this out. Can you see this?
Yeah.
So I want you to learn what this means. It's called entropy. And in physics, entropy is a measure of disorder or randomness in a system. So that's kind of like a weird way to think about it. But
Right.
basically, the more time passes, the higher there's a chance of disorder. Have you ever like rolled up like some cables and then put them in a drawer and then you come back like 2 weeks later and it's all like untangled?
Hmm.
Okay. So the longer the cables sit in the drawer, the higher chance there is of disorder. Uh,
Okay.
let me give you a better example. Here's a video that does a very good job of explaining entropy.
Ice melts, cream mixes in, and tires deflate because these states have more dispersed energy than the originals. There's no mysterious force nudging the system towards higher entropy. It's just that higher entropy is always statistically more likely. That's why entropy has been called time's arrow. If energy has the opportunity to spread out, it will.
If energy has the opportunity to spread out, it will. So there was a lot of big words there. Like even for me, I just want to listen back to it. Let's listen to it again.
Okay.
Ice melts, cream mixes in, and tires deflate because these states have more dispersed energy than the originals. There's no mysterious force nudging the system towards higher entropy. It's just that higher entropy is always statistically more likely. That's why entropy has been called time's arrow. If energy has the opportunity to spread out, it will.
So let me try to think of some other examples. What do you think takes more energy, standing up or lying down?
Lying down.
Well, yeah, like what takes more energy? Standing up, so you'll eventually end up lying down, right?
Oh, okay.
Do you think it takes more energy to lie down?
I was thinking more like they say it takes however many muscles in the face to frown as opposed to smiling. So I use that as my
Oh,
backdrop.
cool.
That, yeah.
No, but think about it. Let's say I told you, okay, Randy, you're going to stand for 10 hours. And if I said, hey, Randy, you're going to lay down for 10 hours, like what is easier?
Okay, yeah, laying down for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
So that's entropy. So the more time passes, the higher chance there's a chaos within the system. So a system you can also include as like a business. So you see here's an example of a business. It's a system. It's a system of people. People are all doing their own things. This is a system. Here's another example. So you look at companies all across. Tesla and Ford are the only two American car companies who haven't gone bankrupt. And I actually think in 2020, Ford went bankrupt.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
They did.
So Tesla is the last company that's left.
Wow.
So you start, okay, this is interesting. The human body, Randy, is a bunch of systems. You have the circulatory system, respiratory system, skeletal system, digestive system, nervous system, the muscle system. So if you've ever wondered, why is it so much easier to just lay down on a couch than it is to go knock on doors or make phone calls? Well, it's because of this concept of entropy. It's just your body. If you think back to like when we were like hunter-gatherers and we were going chasing our own food, the body is like built in a way where it wants to save you energy. It wants to save energy. So when you try to force yourself after like a long day on the tools to go make some phone calls, the body's like, all right, come on, man, just take some rest. But that's literally what it's designed to do.
Right.
And then you see, well, if it's easier to not eat healthy, now more than ever, it's become easier to not eat as healthy. Okay, it takes a lot of energy in the morning to wake up, make your breakfast, to plan out your lunch, to plan out your dinner. That takes energy. So with enough time, it will disperse, which means is you'll forget to make your breakfast and you'll choose to go through a drive-through.
Gotcha.
Same with social media. You go on social media, that's basically just pure chaos.
Right.
You open up Facebook, but it's controlled chaos. It takes no energy for you to get entertained. It used to be that, okay, you need to take your horse and like go ride to a place, and then you pay some money, and then you sit there for a couple of hours while your face gets, eaten up by giant mosquitoes as this guy try to makes you laugh. And then you like try to come back home. It took a lot of energy to be entertained. Now you can kind of just lay down on a couch, and the funniest things that you've ever seen can watch. The most entertaining things you can watch, the scariest thing you can watch, the most horrific images you can see, just at the palm of your fingers. So over time, it's so easy to trick your brain into liking these things. And you can see like time on social media has just been growing more and more and more.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then if you count all this is anxiety. This is how much us as society have been just getting more and more and more anxious. This is how many times in a month that people look up the word anxiety.
Really?
Yeah. So in 2020, it's been like close to 85 million times a month.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can definitely see how social media has definitely increased a lot of the disorders and things that we have in our life, just trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's crazy.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So yeah, when you ask about your mindset, man, it really is. You have to understand it's like you are your inputs.
Hmm.
It really is garbage in, garbage out. So if you're hanging around with people who are just constantly like, all right, Randy, you got to slow it down, man. This is too risky. The economy is not as good as it needs to be. You can't hire anymore. You're being overconfident. Don't be cocky. Stick to your roots. I mean, what are the odds? I mean, how much effort is it going to take?
A lot.
How much energy? A lot, right?
Yeah.
So why did you ask that question? What were you hoping
Um,
to get? What are you running into? What are you struggling with?
well, so I'm on my 30-year drug addict, recovered 6 years now. And that's always been my struggle is the mindset. I mean, whether going into giving a bid and having that fear and lowering my price, or um, trying to be a people pleaser, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And now I'm using the system, and I have noticed a substantial increase in how I feel about my business, how I feel going into these things. But there's still moments, and I talked to Conrad on my last meeting with him. There was a bid that I went into, and I totally just didn't do anything I was supposed to do. I didn't bring uh, my contracts. I didn't bring my presentation folder. I didn't sit down with both people, and I reacted just out of that same fear. And when I got done, I was like, dude, I mean, exactly the things I know I'm not supposed to do, I just went and did. And it could have cost me the job. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm pretty
why did you do that? Did you know you were like when you woke up in the morning and you knew you had an estimate? Like, why did you not bring the bids or the contract? Why didn't you do any of that?
Well, I brought it. It was all in my truck, and that was the thing. Is like I walked in the house just totally unprepared, and then I was like, "Well,
Why?
since
Why'd you leave
why?"
the truck unprepared?
Um, that I honestly I don't have an answer for yet.
So you had everything you needed in that truck and you chose not to bring it.
Yes, that's the part that really bugged me the most. Like I said, it was by the time I was in the house, and I realized like I'm not prepared. I went into like fight or flight mode and just kind of went to panic, and
Yeah.
quickly got the measurements and
Okay.
talked to them a little bit.
Let me ask you about that. When did this happen?
This happened 2 weeks ago now.
Okay. How good's your sleep?
Shitty.
How bad?
Um, I'm lucky to get 4 hours at night. I can't fall asleep at night, and then it's like I'm waking up just, and the first thought on my mind is work,
Okay.
and this situation of just going in unprepared and just
How often do you feel throughout your day, Randy, that you are reacting to life,
um
trying to catch up?
it's gotten better here lately. I went through a season. I had an employee, and I just wasn't managing things right, and it cost me a lot of money. I basically put me down in the red, and trying to get out of the red was a stressful moment. But getting out of that now, um, it's it's getting better, I would say. But it's still, like I said, I still have those moments where it's like the minute I wake up in the morning, it's like I got to force myself into, you can do this.
Yeah.
You're successful. You can be successful if you keep to what you got to do. And so it's like I said, it's getting better. It's just like I said, well, it's gotten better since that time. That one moment was a huge moment. Like I said, I had a hard time letting it go. So it's always in the back of my mind every time I go into something now on. It's like I need to be prepared. I need to be on the ball, because I know not following the system, it's costing me.
Yeah.
And that's what I was meaning by, the mindset thing is like, is there a point in time, like, not so much does it go away, but does it get easier? I mean, is it easier to, tell yourself like I can do this? Is it easier to wake up in the morning and be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, it does for sure, man. For sure.
okay.
Um, did you watch the mindset section of my program?
I did.
The whole thing?
I watched I didn't watch the last one. I'll be
Did you
honest.
did you watch all of them? Like sat down with a pen
Oh,
and paper, or did you listen?
no, no, I sat down with a pen. Those are what I probably gained the most out of. I'm not gonna lie. The mindsets were probably the most monumental for me. Um, it's just that play, like I said, even trying to fill out my ideal life,
Yeah.
it was a pain in the ass because I'm like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want out of life. I know that I don't want to be busting my ass 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, trying to live, you know what I mean? But I don't know what kind of house I want. I don't know what kind of life I really want, you know what I mean? It's that part of that thing of like,
Are you married?
divorced twice.
Divorced. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, why the divorce?
Um, so I struggle with codependency,
Mm,
and with that, I find people who are broken and I try to fix them, and mainly they're drug addicts, like I've been in myself. So, um,
did you end those relationships?
the second one, the first one I didn't.
Okay, so the second one you ended.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for being honest. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it took probably 3 years to end it, but it was.
If um if you were to tell me about your social circle, tell me a little bit about it. Who in your life supports you in your business?
Honestly, I got a great support system. I got a friend of mine, Rob Cronin. He's a business coach, and was a realtor for a long time, very successful. I got another friend, Cody, who is owner of a concrete business here in the
How
valley.
often do you talk to Cody and this other gentleman?
Uh, Rob, I talk to probably 2 or 3 times a week. Cody, probably once a week. He's in and out of town a lot, so it's kind of like whenever he's in town, I get to meet with him.
Okay.
Um, and then I got Charles, who's a
And
lieutenant.
you live alone.
I live with my one of my kids. I got one of my sons living with me.
Yeah.
I got 4 boys all together. I lost parental rights to my 2 youngest, so
Okay.
yeah, I got Charles, who's a lieutenant in the police department. I meet with him, I don't know, twice a week. I got Richard, who's a very successful hairstylist here in the valley, has his own business, been very successful for 20 plus years. Um, so and I got, like I said, a really great support group of people that are very successful and pour into me what they know, and help me along. It's not so much that I don't have the knowledge. A lot of the times for me, it's just putting it into action all the time, making it a habit. I do it every day, but it's like, I don't know if it's something that I struggle with in my mind. That's what I mean, is like, I think I struggle with my mindset. And like I said, it's gotten better. Like, and I could tell it's gotten better because I'm able to go to clients, and I can sit with my presentation manual. I can go to door, and I can feel comfortable interacting with people. It's just certain days I just have these moments. I don't know, because I wake up in that negative feeling and I have a hard time getting out. But I just wake up some days and it's just like, it's a shit show.
Yeah, yeah. So those
Um,
days when you wake up like that, how well do you sleep?
Sometimes I sleep all right, but I think I don't know if it's, I don't really rest. I think I sleep, but I don't rest.
Yeah, what is stressing you out? What's always on your mind?
So I struggle living in the past and worrying about the future. My biggest struggle is living in the here and now.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. I hear everybody talking about it. I got a therapist who's helped me out, and it's like, live in the here and now. To me, I'm like, that's like focusing on what I got to do right now, right?
Okay. Well, you want to try this out?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me things that are happening right now.
I'm waiting on materials for the job.
No, no.
Oh,
That's a thought that you're having
okay.
right now. What's actually happening right now
We're
outside
having a
of
meeting.
kind of? So try focus on the physical things first. Let's start there.
Okay.
What is happening right now in the present physically?
I
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, this is amazing. This is good. Take out a pen and paper.
Okay.
Just use your senses. What are your five senses?
touch, taste, smell, hear, and see.
Okay.
And
So write those down.
okay,
Okay. So we'll start with, what's the first one you wrote?
touch,
Okay. Right now, physically, what are you touching?
pen,
What else?
my leg.
So you're touching your pen and your other hand's touching your leg.
Yep.
What else?
Touching the paper,
Okay.
touching my clips.
Write those
Oh,
down.
okay.
So touch, okay, pen, paper, desk, leg. What else?
Um, well, if we want to get technical, I'm touching my sock, I'm touching my pants.
Yeah. Okay, so we can just say clothes. We can just say
Okay.
clothes for all that. What else?
Touching air.
Can you feel the air?
No,
Okay, so you can't feel it. Can't.
no.
Okay, cool. What else are you touching or feeling?
Oh, I'm touching the chair.
Yeah, good. But you see how that's interesting?
Dude, yeah.
You didn't notice that your butt was touching the chair.
That's one of the biggest things.
No, no, but this is good. Let's continue with this exercise. This is gold.
Okay.
What else?
Taste.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
There's still something else touching. Here's like close your eyes and just feel. What else are you feeling that we haven't talked about? Scan your body, top to bottom.
I don't know.
Imagine a scan from the top of your head, throughout your hands, throughout your body, your butt, your legs, all the way. Close your eyes and do a scan of everything that you're touching. What else did we not write down?
My hat.
Okay, that's
Um,
clothes. Yeah, good.
chair, the desk,
Go below the chair.
the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Can you right now, can you just feel your feet touch the ground?
Yeah.
Feel them. Just think about that. Feel your heel. Okay, now feel like your left toe. Feel your right foot. So what I want you to discover is what we're doing right now is we're guiding your attention. It's so funny how you were feeling the ground this whole time, but you never paid attention to it. Your mind was racing at 1,000,000,000 miles an hour. Oh my God, is Amber judging me? Am I missing something? Is it weird if I close my eyes? How is this a business meeting? What does this have to do with anything? All I can feel is my palm. What am I missing? Am I dumb? Is there something I'm not understanding?
Right.
Oh, maybe I'm disappointing Amber now. I don't want him to think that I'm dumb. You did everything except literally feel your feet touch the ground, man.
It's wild. And that's the concept. I mean, it's just like something so simple as that. I mean, that's the parts like the small, simple things of which I'm like missing because I'm trying to prepare for this big thing that could happen in the future, whatever.
Yeah, but you've been living your life preparing for this big thing in the future that you've forgotten that your own feet are touching the ground.
Hmm. That's
When
so
people, yeah,
that's living in the now.
that's it. It's when you leave your own thoughts and just notice. Right. So what's the next thing on your list?
Taste,
Okay, we can skip that. What else?
smell. Right now, I smell cinnamon and coffee cake candle.
Did you notice that before?
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, I haven't noticed that. I've been burning these candles for a minute. It hasn't been until the other day I've actually noticed the smell.
Cool.
Um,
Let's do something right now.
okay.
Okay, with smell. It kind of goes with feeling and touch. But I want you to notice your next breath coming in through your nose. So after the vape, that's all good.
Okay.
But just relax and then feel the next breath and don't force it. Just surrender. There's nothing to do here. You're going to breathe and just feel it as you inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Just feel the next breath. And I'll do the same. And don't worry about controlling the breath. Don't worry about going too deep. Don't worry about going too shallow. Just breathe how you want to breathe, however you want. Just notice the next couple of breaths. It's nice, right? It's like drinking water.
Right. That's really peaceful.
Where do you feel your breath?
I feel it here, but I mainly my chest.
Okay, so when you breathe in, you feel it in your nose
Yep.
and you feel it all the way in, and then you feel it your chest expanding.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
never
cool.
noticed how you can feel it. I mean, all the way into the whole system. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, what's the next on the list?
Here.
Okay. Other than my voice, what do you hear? And this can be the most tricky one because there's probably sounds that have been going on this whole time that you've like deafened yourself to. So try to really listen. Listen like you've never listened before. Like you're listening for the first time. Could be the sound of the wind, could be animals, could be a car that's driving by. We're going to take 10 seconds and I want you to listen like you've never listened before. Don't let anything go unheard. What did you listen? What did you hear, man?
I heard in the refrigerator, my dog breathing, the wind outside, the guy plowing snow, people walking out in the snow, the vehicles driving by. Could hear the birds chirping.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never known that I could hear all these things. That's crazy.
Yeah. I heard my window creak. I heard my wood creak. I heard the fan in the vent. I heard the breath, like the wind coming out of my vent. I heard a car driving by.
That's wild.
So, Randy, I really want you to consider that everything, like right now, you can still feel your legs. What we've done here is I've showed you an exercise in guiding your attention.
Hmm.
There are these like wonderfully peaceful sounds, like your dog breathing, that you maybe have never noticed, that are
Okay.
actually there, the humming of the fridge. There are all these things around you, things that you can feel, things that you can hear, your own breath that go unnoticed. And that's because your awareness is all in your mind. You're always worried about what's going to come next. You're worried about what ifs. You're worried about something that happened in the past that you feel embarrassed about. You're worried about a mistake that you might make in the future. And you're just in this soup of thoughts that you are worshiping. You're treating these thoughts like facts. When
Hmm.
in reality, Randy, these thoughts, they're just there to help you survive. That's it. It's just fight or flight. It's just telling you, Randy, beware. But these thoughts, man, I can promise you, won't help you succeed.
Right.
They're there, they're just there to make sure you're not dying. Because if you follow these thoughts to the absolute nth degree, which is if I don't find more work, my bank account's going to run low. Then I have to buy materials. Then rent is due. Then I'll have no money. Then they'll foreclose on my house. Then my son will leave me. Then my dog will run out of food. Then I'll die.
Right.
It's like all these thoughts are just basically shadows of a fear of death. And they're just there to protect you. It's just part of your biology. And I'm not saying don't listen to them. I'm saying just look at them. Like pick them up. Pick up your thoughts. Okay. And really ask yourself, like what's gone through your mind even throughout this meeting? Throughout this meeting, your mind wandered for a second and it's thinking about some other things. What are you thinking about? What came
Well,
up?
I
Give me
am
an
thinking
example.
about the fact I have to give up my dog.
Yeah. Okay. So what can you do about that?
Not a thing.
Okay. Great. So you looked at this thought. You're sad that you're gonna give up your dog. It's okay to be sad.
Hmm.
Okay. But then you can just come back here to this meeting. You can just acknowledge it. Here's this thought. It's just sad. And okay, yeah, I guess I am sad a little bit. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Because what you
Right.
can do, Randy, is funny enough, when you judge a thought, that's just another thought. When you're like, oh, I shouldn't feel sad, it's not manly to feel sad. That's just a thought. That judgment is a thought.
Shit.
So now you have thoughts about your thoughts. And you just had a thought about the thought of your thoughts right now. When you said shit, you're like, but that's okay. It's okay, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
What other thoughts came up to your mind, maybe relating to your business?
Um, I just keep thinking of that bid that I did.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So here's this bid that happened. So you have this thought. What do you feel when you think of that thought? What feelings come up for you?
Embarrassment,
Okay,
disappointment.
cool, cool. Yeah. So negative emotions.
Hmm.
Um, so okay, what can you do about it? What can you do about these thoughts? What are these thoughts trying to tell you?
That I need to do the right thing the next time. I need to.
Kind of. I want to take a second here, Randy, and remind you, you don't actually need to do anything in your life.
Okay.
Consider that for a second. You actually don't need to do anything. You don't need to raise your son. You don't need to pay your bills. You don't
Oh,
have to, you don't need to run a business.
I got you.
These are things like, do you want to run a business?
Yes.
Are you choosing to run a business?
Yes.
Okay, great. part of running a business is what works when running a business is being good at selling yourself.
Right.
Good. So you actually don't need to do anything because that can seem like a burden. But in reality, you're actually, so you want to run a business. Great. Here, let me ask you this question. Do you want to learn how to become better at selling yourself?
Yes.
Great. Good. So you have this thought that came up and it's saying, hey, Randy, just a little, and by the way, you can reframe these thoughts. They don't have to be so negative. It can just be a thought saying, hey, that I feel embarrassed. And then you can be like, honestly, I can see why I feel embarrassed. But really what I'm trying to figure out is how can I be more organized so that in the future this doesn't happen again? Or at least I
Right.
minimize it. Because if it happens again, it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
So right now, what can you do so that in the future, when you leave your truck, you never leave your truck without all the materials you need?
Have my checklist right there in front of me, somewhere on the dash, steering wheel, somewhere just as a reminder to double check and make sure I got everything before I walk out the truck.
Okay, cool. What do you usually leave the truck with? What are you holding in your hands?
I usually got tape measure, presentation manual.
But you forgot all those, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you still left with something. Did you have your phone on you?
I had my phone, had my tape measure and notebook,
Okay,
and I had a pencil.
great. What if you took your tape measure and what if you took your pencil and notebook and put it inside your client manual?
Well, I'm going to put it, so I got it all in a backpack now, and I'll make sure to put my tape measure and pencil in the backpack. So in order to go
Yeah,
measure something, I have to take the backpack with me.
cool. Cool. But that's it. So now that you have a plan, anything like you'll still have these thoughts, but there's nothing left there to do. Like, is there anything else to do? No. So it's okay. Can you forgive yourself, Randy?
I'm working on it. It's been something I've been working on, having compassion and mercy on myself,
Okay,
for
so
my
here's a
mistakes.
question. Who do you not have compassion and mercy for right now in your life?
Me.
Who else?
Um, Really, I'm the only one. I've been working on forgiveness of others for a minute now, so
Okay, but who have you not forgiven yet?
that's a good question. I don't think I've fully forgiven my recent ex-wife yet.
Yeah.
I still struggle with that.
Yeah, great. Consider that until you forgive her, the tools required for you to fully forgive her are the same tools that are required to forgive yourself.
Hmm.
Remember the mirror that we talked about?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still judging your ex-wife. And the same way you judge her, it's probably how you judge yourself.
Yeah. That'd be a fair assessment.
I would start there. Randy, you are a good person. You care for the ones around you. Me and you, we're just two humans on this floating rock called Earth trying to figure ourselves out.
Yeah.
That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to figure out how to live life, trying to figure out how to run a better business. Like, you don't think my business has like problems and obstacles? Do
Yeah.
you not think there's people in my life that I could forgive more?
Oh yeah. I mean, we always could forgive more. We could always show grace and mercy though more.
Yeah. But, I really want to kind of give you that reminder that you have everything you need to actually live a good life. And one of the biggest opportunities for you is to actually practice controlling your awareness. Like notice how when you controlled your awareness, like right now, you're going to control your awareness to your feet on the floor. And now your awareness is jumping between the paper, your mind, and the feet on the floor. But right now, think about just the feet on the floor. Move your feet around if you need to, but like truly feel it. Yeah, there you go. So for those 2 seconds that you're just feeling your feet on the floor, you were present. When you're listening to me right now, you're being present because you feel like I really understand you. So you're not no longer in your brain.
Right.
So I know we took a little detour there about forgiveness, but a lot of these thoughts that are on your mind, these judgments of yourself, it's clouding your thinking. You make a mistake and you judge yourself into infinity. And this judgment of your ex-wife, this like loud judgment of her and who she could have been and who she should have been, the things that she should have done, and all that, man. It's just, have you taken a minute to consider that she's tried her best?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, you don't think that you're trying your best either.
No.
Yeah. Now, could she put more effort? Maybe. Could she have she listened harder? Could she have tried harder? Sure. But like just like you, she has her own thoughts and her own way of being. Like truly consider for a moment. What's her name?
Molly.
Molly. Close your eyes for a second and just relax. And I want you just to imagine Molly as like a 5-year-old child. Like she's just a kid and she's starting to learn how to walk and talk, and she has her parents and family around her. And then the world happens to Molly. Things happen to her and she grows up and she experiences things and that she doesn't know how to handle, and she tries to adapt and cope in her own way, and then more bad things happen and more bad things, and the cards that have been dealt to her have been worse and worse and worse. And then she made decisions that she thought were just the decisions to make because of what she saw in her environment, and then she just became this person. Life just beat her down, man, and she was left with nothing except the tools that just had her survive. She had to become a specific person to survive. And part of these things are maybe not the healthiest, but it served her. She is here today because of the things that she learned how to do. She learned that if she does this drug or this thing, that will give her peace, because she was maybe a little bit suicidal, for example. So it saved her for a little bit. It was a distraction from the cruelty of the world. She didn't know the impacts of her decision. She didn't have a mentor or a guide to show her the path. She didn't really know what she was doing. So if you don't want to forgive her now, at least forgive the child. Have some empathy that this child has just been dealt a shitty hand, man. I could have easily, my dad said to me point blank, my dad's so old school. He was like, Amber, if one of your brothers was a sister, you'd still be in Jordan. That's how conservative he is.
Well,
but then he grew up with that's what his dad told him, and that's what the priest told him, and that's what the TV told him, and that's what he understood. It's that if you're a woman, you stay at home. You can't go to a country where you're going to go out and have sex with all these men. So you stay here in the house. But I've been dealt a kind of a good hand. My dad took that leap of faith, and I met these mentors of mine. So stop being so hard on her. She is trying her best, but she's trying her best with these tools, these rusty tools. She's trying to open a door with a hammer. She just hasn't learned how to open the door any other way.
Right. Wow. Just never thought of it like that. It makes it easier to understand and forgive looking at it, through those lenses.
Yeah, man. We're all just humans trying to figure it out. Every person's trying to figure it out. And some of us have been dealt better hands than others, but you know, true grace, the word grace, I think that my favorite definition is just loving people for who they are, not who they should be,
Hmm.
because nobody is who they should be.
Hmm. I like that.
Nobody has gotten to their goal of who they want to be. Nobody is there.
Right.
Everybody's trying to improve. Everybody's a little bit disappointed with their current situation.
Yeah.
So just forgive yourself. Forgive her. You guys are trying. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. You can just let go of that judgment, of that voice that is constantly leading you down.
Yeah.
And maybe that was somebody in your life who would just yell at you. Maybe it was a math teacher. Maybe it was your dad. Maybe it was your grandfather. Maybe it was your uncle who just that's all he knew how to do. That's how his dad taught him, and his dad taught him, and that's because the original dad was just a drunken guy, and he just started this pattern of just this weird communication style and blaming and judgment at the surface, zero forgiveness, zero tolerance. You're this, you're that. You'll never amount to anything. It's okay. Those guys too were also just kids, innocent. And then life, boom.
Right.
You don't have to take it so personally. They don't even know what they're doing. Nobody
Right.
does.
Yeah, I think we all take comfort in the fact that we're doing a little bit better than what we were raised. What I mean? Like my dad was very verbal abusive and sometimes physically abusive and all those things. And so, but he like, he comforts himself in the fact that he ain't like his dad who was just full on abusive. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I get that. But can you see how your dad has this burden of all the shit he's dealt with? How,
Hmm.
like, for 20 years, every single day, this monster just lived in his house with him. Every
Hmm.
morning, he would roll out of bed scared that he was going to get touched a certain way or hit in a certain way.
Right.
It was a war zone for your dad. And so what was normal for him was so shit that he's like, okay, for my son, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. But like it makes sense. Like I think it's healthy to yell at a man. He doesn't know. That's
Hmm.
10. He was giving you 10% of what he was getting.
Right. Hmm. Yeah, it really opens the eyes to see it. I mean,
You can just forgive him. Forgive your dad. Forgive your ex-wife. Forgive all these people, man. They're all just trying. They're all just kids who grew up
hmm.
and they're just trying to cope. They're trying to figure out how to live their life. And you just happen to be collateral damage. But you have a choice. You have a choice on how you're going to show up.
Right.
Like you could the next time you see your dad just hug him and hug that inner child that's been through it all. You can just hug that guy, just know like, ah, this hard exterior, this like potential, like there's no soul sometimes you can feel. It's like, no, no, no. There's that child in there.
Right. Yeah.
Like you can
I
do
can.
that. You have access to that. You can thank your ex-wife. You can say, hey, thank you for the experience you've given me and the insight and the perspective because she's helped you understand what you don't like in a relationship.
Hmm.
And she helped you understand how to be more forgiving, which helped you to be more understanding of yourself. Now, are we going to get back in a relationship with her? No, of course not. She has
Right.
her own journey that doesn't involve you,
Hmm.
but she's also part of the journey. You played a part into her journey.
Right.
And there's nothing that she needs to get, and she's not broken. There's nothing to fix. It's just she's just trying to figure it out as well. And you're not broken, and there's nothing to fix either with you.
Hmm. Yeah, I've always viewed life as everybody kind of had it figured out, and I was still trying to play catch up. So
Yeah, that's great. That's you have no proof of that. If you're gonna make a observation about the world like that, at least show me some proof.
right.
There's no proof about that.
Hmm.
You can't read my mind. I'm thinking of
No,
a number between 1 and 20. What is it?
14.
No, it's 2.
Oh shit.
Yeah. You can't read my mind, man. You know? No, no. None of this is.
Yeah. No, like I said, I know that like if I'm learning a lot of this stuff, it's just for me, it's just taking a little longer to sink in. You know what I mean? It's like I have my good days and I have my bad days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, that's because you haven't been managing your attention. For a bad day to be a bad day means that you have to be on autopilot the whole day.
hmm,
A bad day is a choice. A bad moment is circumstance. You can have a bad meeting, but the moment that bad meeting ruins your mood and you bring it to the next meeting, that's a choice, whether consciously or unconsciously.
gotcha. I gotcha. I'm I'm holding on to things when I need to let them go.
They're just thoughts. You don't have to think about them. Just focus on the task ahead. Like one of the things you don't want to get stuck is do something called like why hunting, where you're just hunting for why you react this way, why do you feel that way, versus goal hunting. It's like, okay, what's the task at hand? Let me get present to my environment. Like right now, we got very deep in conversation, but I want you right now just to feel your next breath. Notice how things got slow all of a sudden.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's you have access to that, Randy. You have access to be present. Life doesn't have to be a race. You don't have to keep responding to your thoughts. You don't have to worship them. They're just thoughts, man.
I liked how you worded that. I don't have to worship them. I think it's
Yeah, you treat them as truths. Like, oh, just because I'm feeling this, then it must be true. Just because I'm thinking this, then there must be some reality behind it. It's like, no,
yeah.
man, like we've all had some weird fucked up thoughts. Like you ever like been driving down the road and like you just have this weird thought. It's like, oh, if I just swerve into traffic, like dude, everybody has that. Or like you're on the side of a building, it's like, oh, well, what if I jump, but you don't go and sit down after you're on a next to a balcony and be like, oh man, like am I suicidal? And then you start looking for reasons why like you're depressed. And no, we don't do that. We're just like, oh,
Right.
that's just a thing. But a client at meeting doesn't go well. Your bid, the way you did it, isn't as clean as you want it to. And then now you start judging yourself as a business owner and your future and your bank account. And it's come on, dude.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
It was just a bad meeting.
I'm making it making mountains out of molehills, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not that deep, man.
Yeah, no, it's that's really insightful. Like I said, I know looking back on things, like I said, any kind of failure, any kind of mistake, I drag it on um sometimes for weeks at a time, and that affects my sleep too. So yeah, I need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be
Whenever I talk to somebody and they struggle with sleep, it's because they can't control their thoughts. They're just like, you're just thinking about shit 24/7. And it's like a treadmill. And then every now and then you have not even a good day, you have a good evening. Okay, maybe whatever it looks
Mhm.
like. Maybe your son hugs you, he tells you you had a good day. And then all of a sudden you're just present to the hug and you're just chilling. And then you're not thinking about stuff because now you're just thinking about your son. Because again, you can't control your thoughts, but something nice happened to you. So now you fall asleep. So your sleep and the quality of your sleep is actually a reflection of the state of your mind and how organized or disorganized it is.
Hmm.
when you just lay in bed and just stare to the ceiling, and you're just in your mind, whether you know it or not.
Yeah. So I mean, is that tied into so I know like since I've been doing like time management and and trying to regulate myself a little more, um, it's not as overbearing some of the thoughts. So I know like doing the time management and
Yeah,
stuff
you
like
know
that.
why that is? It's because you're taking the thoughts and you're organizing them into actions. So you're like, oh, okay, there's nothing left. Remember how we talked about the bid and you
Hmm.
got in a backpack?
Hmm.
Okay, great. That's it. Done.
Let's leave it at that.
That's why you feel good. So if I was in your position, one of the tools that I want you to learn is something called the stop method. Okay. And I'm going to bring this up for you. Okay. So number one is the S stands for stop. Like literally just pause. With that, whatever you're doing, just stop. The T is take a breath. Just follow your breath. And then the third one for O is observe. Use your eyes, use your senses. Just observe what is happening around you in the present. Just observe what is happening. So, like, let's say your son comes home and he's angry and starts yelling at you, and you feel yourself getting really flustered. Just stop. You don't have to actually stop him or say the word stop. You can just stop by yourself. He can still be yelling. And then while he's yelling, so let's try this right now. I'm going to make some noise. And while I'm doing that, without closing your eyes, just focus on your breath. Okay? La 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 la. Be able to focus on the breath?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So you can do that. You have access to that. You don't have to listen to my jibber jabber.
Okay.
Okay, you don't have to like you can walk and chew gum.
Right. Right.
So stop, take a breath, and then observe. Just see it for how it is.
Okay.
So if I'm going la 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 la, just observe it. And it's like, okay, it's literally just Amber holding a mic, making noise. And he's doing this because he's showing me an example.
Hmm.
So you see your son come in. Okay, he's coming in, he's flustered. Obviously, something happened in his day. Obviously, he's angry at me. So there's something that I did earlier today that really upset him.
Hmm.
I obviously want to help him out. Let's just wait it out a little bit. You're observing. Notice you're not judging. I'm just calling the facts. I'm not calling him reactive. I'm not saying that he's stressed. I'm not saying that he's angry. I don't know. He could be just hungry.
Right.
I don't know. He could be just lonely. His girlfriend could have just broken up with him. He could have been just bullied on the way to school. So,
Right.
and he's just scared. So I don't want to label him. He's making a lot of noise. Let's figure out what's going on.
Okay.
And that's the final piece is process it logically. See what happens, Randy, is you get a thought, the thought makes you emotional, and then you start observing the emotions and looking for proof to support the emotion. So instead of that, process it logically.
Awesome.
And that's an hour.
This went by faster in our 30-minute meetings with Conrad. It's crazy.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Is that what it is? Well paid, my man.
Yeah. Yeah, Randy, I hope you find this informational. And hey, man, if you don't apply this, it's okay. you still have access to this information. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you apply some of it, if you forget some of it, it's okay, dude. We can talk again. You can find me every Thursday on our calls.
Awesome.
So
no, it's been extremely helpful, honestly. Just really like the part about getting in the moment was really, like I said, really helpful because I've never known what that meant. So,
well,
I
there
do
you go.
appreciate that, man.
How old are you?
I'm 41.
Yeah. So after 41 years, now you know how to be present. Congratulations. You should be happy. That's great.
I'm stoked. It's yeah, it was the first time for a lot of things in my 41 years. So
Good. Well, I'm proud of you, man. It's not easy to run a contracting business. It's not easy to want yourself to become a leader in your life and in your business. It's not easy to challenge yourself and look within. And it's not easy to have these conversations. And you did all four of those. So congratulations. And
thanks,
it's
man.
one step at a time, man. Okay.
Gotcha.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.